Welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're doing this. This is a Zippo lighter. So is this, and so is this. They all look the same for the most part, but they come in shiny chrome. This is in copper. This is in black crinkle. They come all sorts of graphics, and they've been making them for since the mid-30s, really. If you don't know Zippo lighters yet, you should know Zippo lighters. If you are familiar with Zippo lighters, I'm going to show you kind of what I have, kind of like how they work and that sort of thing. If you don't have one, you really might think about getting one. Just for the vintage coolness of a Zippo lighter, you don't have to use it as a smoker. I don't smoke, but I have a Zippo lighter, and I carry one in my A2 leather jacket because it's a World War II version. I've always had Zippo lighters since I first could get one because it's just great for starting a fire, especially if it's windy out. Matches are great, but if you're camping, it's nice to have a Zippo because you can just light your fire that way because they're made for wind. That's the whole purpose of a Zippo lighter and why it was even invented, was for wind. So I'm going to show you what I have. I'm going to show you actually how to put lighter fluid into it, what lighter fluid to use if you don't know, and kind of just going to go over all the Zippo lighters. They're kind of cool. You might want to think about getting one if you are a smoker. They're great, I guess. They have that cool factor. The thing about the Zippo lighter, though, is it costs more than the Bic, the classic plastic one. And you have to refill it, which I kind of like the process of refilling it because it's just the routine, that sort of thing. But let's take a look at the Zippo lighters. If you're new to my channel, I do kind of vintage stuff, mostly geared for guys, either from clothing or gear, that sort of thing. This is definitely in the gear range of just stuff. You need one of these in your pocket or a jacket. So let's take a look at what I have. So these are just my lighters I have. I only have about 5. I might have 1 or 2, maybe somewhere else. I don't know where. But I'm going to go through each one and kind of show you what each one kind of is. The first one is the classic chrome one. You've probably seen these all the time. This one's actually special because this was my dad's Zippo lighter when he worked for the railroad. And this was the railroad he worked for. It's chrome. All Zippo lighters are always in a metal case like this, and then they have this pressed steel or metal unit with this is your filler, which is kind of like everything where if you're gonna put your lighter fluid, it soaks into this. It's kind of like a sponge, and it holds it in there, and then there's a wick here at the top that it will be sucked up the lighter fluid through that wick, and then this little metal piece here holds your flints, and there's a spring inside there, and then there's a little piece of flint, and when I say flint, it's actually this. These are flints you can buy from Zippo. They're like some sort of metal. I'm not sure what it actually is, but it just goes in there, and then when you run this wheel, see this one, the flints are all gone. It should rub against the flint, and then it makes a spark. And then that whole piece fits inside your case, and it has a little spring here that helps keep the handle, and you get that classic snap. All Zippos are dated too. Something, if you ever find an old Zippo, you can see what year it's from. And if you look here, it has like little hash marks there, and then over here it also has hash marks, and you can go to the Zippo website and it will actually tell you what year your Zippo's from. I think this is from the late 60s. If I were to guess, I'll put it down here what date this one actually is that my dad owned. So I kind of started with this one because he didn't smoke, but he had his actually at one time, maybe did back in the 60s. This one I actually ordered from Marlboro. They were, it was back in the 90s when they were giving away free stuff, and if you collected the tag, so I would find old used cigarette cartons and send in the little tags, and you get a free Zippo lighter. Still has it. This one's a brass one, and then has, you can get your initials engraved in it. And then this one also has the hashtags there, and I will put down the date of this one right here for you too. And this one is a brass, there you can see the sparks. This one has good flint. You can see the sparks. This one opens up. It's not the best one because it has this, as you can see, is this raised cowboy on it, and it actually gets stuck in your pocket, and it'll wear away your pocket more so than the smooth one. But this is one I have from Marlboro at the time. I'm sure they made thousands and thousands of these. Zippos aren't rare. You can find Zippos anywhere really because they made them forever, since 1933, 35, in that range. There's a lot of copies of Zippos, and if you ever find a copy of one, they're not near as nice as the originals. This one I picked up a long time ago. Well, not that long time ago. Maybe, I don't know, it says 03, so it might be 2003. This is a copper one. I kind of like the unusual ones. And this one's actually aged pretty good too. And what we'll do is we'll fill this one up. I'll show you how to do that once this goes. And you can see it even has a little, just from the copper, probably got a little oil or something on that disfigured it a little bit. But it's nice, and I like the patina on it. Patinas on Zippos are really nice. This one, if you notice, is black. It's a crinkle finish. And this one is their World War II, I don't know what you would call, like a reproduction almost. Obviously it's not World War II. Original World War II ones are very valuable because they really only made them for the war. And they would have 3 hinges down here instead of 5. That's the early ones had just 3 slots. Newer ones have 5. Obviously 5 is much stronger. This one is, here you get to the, there we go. You can see it has that's about the flame that most Zippos have, is this, but I'm going to blow on it. Oh, actually I blew it out. I might be out of fluid on this a little bit. I think I am. But they hold up really well in the weather because of this little chimney. It has holes in it. So your flame, it kind of protects the flame inside from going out, which is actually the whole purpose of a Zippo. It has that feature. Now Zippo also made specialty ones. Like this one I picked up. This was used, but it still has the original. This is for pipes. I'm going to show you this one. So it looks like a normal Zippo. This cost $8.95 when it was new, but it has a little pipe symbol there. And if you open this one, it's got a hole right there, a little different from the typical Zippo. Is that this is a pipe one. And the reason this has this hole is because if you were smoking a cigarette here, you would hold it and you would put, this is where you want the flame on top, your cigar or cigarette. But with a pipe, you don't. There is no, if you notice, it's got a little tiny hole at the top, because pipes you would hold this way. So you want the flame to go up. So that's why it's cut out there, so the flame can go up this way, or of course this way if you're holding it this way. And then you can pull down the flame onto your pipe. It's kind of neat. The whole thing's a little different. It's just all kind of smooth. And that's got a good spark on it too. And it's the same inside. See, it's exactly the same. It's just this piece is shaped a little different than for a regular one. It'll tight get in there. And this one also is dated, just like they all are. You can see the little hashtags there. And I'll give dates for this one too. And it came in a little works or we'll fix it for free. Every Zippo is guaranteed for life, which is a really nice feature of the company, is you can, basically you can have a Zippo and send it in and they'll get it fixed for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I'll show you how to get fluid into a Zippo, the best way to do it. So you pull it out. Now it says lift to fill, but they put this little hole here, and I don't know why you should lift that to fill it when that hole goes all the way through. But what I use the Ronsor. I think Zippo probably sells their own too, but it's lighter fuel. This is also really great if you have like old records and paperback books to remove residue from a sticker or tape. This stuff actually works really well, and it doesn't destroy the top. So it's actually, I use it for a lot of things, mostly for that, but every once in a while I like to fill up my Zippo. So what I do, it's kind of tough to get in there, but if you use the open end of your case, you can squeeze that, and then it opens up like that. And then what you do, obviously this one we knew nothing's there because there's no fluid in there, but it's got a little hole here, and if you notice this little pointy end here, if you stick that in that hole and you just give it a couple squeezes, I'm sure if you were a smoker you'd probably want to fill this all the way up all the time, but again, I'm not a smoker, so I don't do that. And then I close this up with this too. I just don't like to get the fluid on my fingers because then you smell like a lighter fluid. So you can see it's actually colored it a little bit just from the fluid that got in there. And if you close that up, and you can give it a little shake sometimes, there you go. You got a flame from what we put in there. Now this will last, I don't know how long this actually lasts. If you just leave it up, obviously it's going to burn off more. Zippos are great if you are in a cave and you're trying to go through something, or if you're in an air duct system in a Japanese skyrise system being taken over by terrorists. Those are also really handy. Or if you're trying to explode something behind you in a slow-mo and you want to turn that on and throw it behind your back, very handy. These are in movies all the time. Of course, nobody actually does that with the Zippo. But it's really easy, and you can do it with one hand too. You just flick it and like that and close it. It just takes a little bit of practice to understand how that works, but they're really just a one-handed operation if you need to. You can use two, but just a flick and a flick like that. So I think if you're a smoker, you would light it, close it, and this would actually last a long, long time. But again, I'm not, but these are my Zippos. All right, I'm going to show you how to change out the flint also. You might need a little screwdriver just to start it. And this little piece comes out. If you notice, it's got a little long spring on it with a little metal tip on the back end to push it through. There's the flint. That's what's left of the flint currently, as you can see there. So you would get a new flint. Now let's just do that. We'll get a new flint. And how we do that is we use this little device here from the flints that they come in. They have a real clever little notch right there, and you turn that and it points towards the thing. Turn them upside down and you twist it, and it gives you one flint. So you take that flint, just put it over the hole, slide her down, take your spring again, push it back through. Oh. It's got a little bit of a little push on it. And you can do it by hand or just use a screwdriver. Obviously don't wail on it, just give it to where it's there. Put it down, and look at that, we got the flint working, although this flint was working fine, and it's filled up, and now this lighter is good to go for a while. So you can put that in your pocket, in your jacket, or wherever you want to carry your lighter with you, and if you ever need a little flame, there you go, you have one. That's the Zippo lighter. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe. and I'll have a lot more later on with just some cool vintage things that maybe you need, or maybe you realized you didn't need you needed, but now you need. That's kind of how it happens. So I'll see you on the next one.